Welcome everybody to the Purr Play Sip Podcast, where today's subject matter is why a cat cafe may not be for you. Actually, to be more specific, I think it's 5 reasons why a cat cafe is not for you. My name is Chuck. I am the proprietor of Perfect Day Cafe, and this is
Rosemary, your regional director of Perfect Day Cafe.
And I have a tiny mic. So this is, we're trying some new things of what's going on with our Purr Play Sip podcast. And one of the things that's super important to us is talk a little bit about how people are not necessarily a good fit for a cat cafe, which you would think would be a little of a contradiction here because we are here in Louisville, Kentucky. We also have another location in Covington, Kentucky, and we would love to fill up our room, which we typically do on the weekends, and we're very proud of, especially during kitten season, especially 1 week before school ends. And you see some of our wonderful kittens that are in here. We are here during kitten season. Lots of people coming in. They're here to visit. I think, what is it now? 70% of the visitors that we have here are really just here to help socialize.
Here for the
experience, be a part of the culture, part of the community. That really is a huge, and really to help out the shelters as well too. But there are specific reasons that we have ran into over the past 4 years. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Yes, happy anniversary. And we're filming this on International Cat Day. August 8th is International Cat Day, which is every day at Perfect Day Cafe. So,
That's right.
yes, absolutely.
And there's about 54 other types of
cat
day
days
celebrations as well, too. So anyway, we are going to name for you, drum roll, the 5 reasons why a cat cafe is not for you. I want to make sure that we say something. We are not speaking on behalf of all cat cafes. We're only speaking on behalf of ourselves, but I'll tell you, as being a part of a social network with cat cafes, I think some of these they're definitely going to agree with. So I'm going to start with the very, very first one that the cat cafe is that we do not want to pay to come in here. So we will get people to come in and either they've been around a lot of cats or some of those other things, and they'll say, well, I've got 4 cats at home, why would I pay to see these? Or I've got, I'll just go to the shelter and I'll go get something like that. I completely understand that. Let me make sure that we say we are not here to argue that. If that is the way that you feel about things, we're respecting that. However, that being said, we are trying to create an amazing atmosphere here. This isn't, like we said, just an adoption center. This is a place for animal lovers to know that they can come make an impact on homeless kitties as well as the shelters that they serve. So without dollars, that is not happening. And we're very transparent. 70% of our revenue, and this is quite often what happens with other cat cafes, come from the fees that we take to collect to come in here. The other part about that as well too is that we really want to make sure that you have the full experience, that you take this in the seriousness that it really is, because this is a huge decision. This is a 16, 18, 20-year decision here. We want to make sure that we give you guys the opportunity to be very, very confident in that decision and not just window shop, but you actually met the kitties and you're absolutely sure that it is the cat or that the cat picks you. So yes, in order to keep our doors open, we must have that fee. And yes, we do want to make sure that you are able to have that full time in here. And again, if we don't stay open, we don't continue to make an impact. And that is not what we're here about. So up at close to 8,000 kitties amongst both of our location. I can't wait to the 10,000 hits. But we're very proud of that. And that's because we get a ton of people in here. But again, if you don't want to pay and you say that's not going to happen, then the shelter can be a solution. Or again, there are some situations where you know of a friend that finds some kitties and things like that. So rule number 1 as to why you are not rule number 1. Reason number 1 as to why you may not be a fit is I refuse to pay. So there it goes.
Absolutely. This is a tiny mic. This is the first time I've used the mic. This is nice. So reason number 2 is I want a specific breed or look of a kitty. Can you just call me when you get a Siamese? Oh my goodness, Robert and I especially get so many messages. They get so many messages at our Covington location. Chuck gets emails, everybody emails about, do you have a Maine Coon? Do you have a Russian Blue? I want a Calico. I want a Siamese. And then they see them on our videos. Those kitties go fast. Hi, hello. That's so cute. So the thing with that is, number 1, what Chuck was saying is that we want you to meet the kitties first. Robert's behind the camera right now. I'm sure we're going to allow him to talk too. Sometimes a Siamese is not exactly the good personality fit. Those of us who have torties, sometimes we can have a little tortitude going on in the house, and all 3 of us have torties at home, and those are specific animal personalities. So that's why we want you to come and visit the kitties first, although house panthers are perfect in any home or scenario. So you are so cute. Another thing we want to talk about is, as far as the specific breeds, is these are rescue cats, you guys. These are mama kitties that from the time they are 4 months old, they can have up to about 18 kittens their first year of viability. And Mother Nature is unpredictable. So without going too much into that, you can Google that. You can have a calico, a Siamese, a black kitten, a gray kitten, a tabby kitten, all in one litter. So when people ask us for certain breeds, these are stray or rescue animals. They are not purebred by any means. So if you're looking for a Maine Coon, which we've had 3, maybe? In 4 years. Siamese are a little more. We get them on occasion. But if you're looking for a purebred, even though rescue is our favorite breed, we understand if you want to go through a reputable, well-maintained breeder. We get that. But we also know that you're going to get your best match here if you go through a rescue, whether that's through your shelter, one of the smaller rescues, or, of course, Perfect Day Cat Cafe, or any of your cat cafes, depending on where you're watching. So we are always very, we have to be firm with people on occasion because they'll see a kitty on the particular video or on the website. Part of the match process, which is what Chuck was saying, is that we want you to come in and make sure that this kitty is going to be a permanent and correct part of your family and be happy and healthy where they are. So. And then we're also going to talk about the personalized experience. So, Chuck, I'm not going to make you talk about this too much, but you are on the Cat Cafe groups more than we are. What about children? Because my understanding is that we're one of the few cat cafes that not only welcome younger kiddos, but we embrace that experience for kids.
We do. So, to give you the short story of it, I really believe that one of the reasons why children are not permitted in most of the cat cafes is because cat cafes owners or the people that are involved just find it difficult to handle them. And I get it, and we ask people to leave the room all the time. I just did yesterday. Mother was great. She left 4 times with 1 child, so that's okay. She left very happy, but so many of them are adopters. We've decided to make sure that we're in here. But in reality, I asked everyone on that group, how many people have had an injured cat from a child, and 0 people answered. So that's, we do believe that they're safe, or else we would do that. Do I think that occasionally they're a little more stressed because the child's loud? Yes, but that's when we try our best to remove them. But yeah, absolutely.
And so being one of the few cat cafes in the nation that not just welcome families, but we embrace them, we're firm believers that the sooner you get kids into a process of meeting animals, learning how to love them, respect them. You hear us all the time in here saying gentle hands, soft touch, inside voices, because we want parents to feel welcome here. And we also want kids to understand that they can hold themselves accountable as well. Like Chuck said, not to say we don't sometimes say mom, dad, nanny, auntie, whoever. If you need to step out for a little bit, we totally understand. Grab a drink and a snack. So we really work hard to accommodate, but at the same time, we understand that everybody is in here paying the same price, especially with our adopters wanting to come in and make a match. And so that's why we do monitor that closely. We occasionally get people saying, oh, I didn't feel like I got enough of a personalized experience. We always ask before people are going in, do we have anybody who's looking to adopt? Because all of our guests are special, but we really want to pay a little bit of extra time and attention to those people who are looking to adopt, because that's the reason they're here. And that is a really huge, important decision. So we need to make it personalized. We find out if they have kids. We find out if they have an apartment. We find out if they have other dogs or cats or animals in the house. You'd be surprised at how many questions people have. And so we want to guide them on that experience. So I do want to add, if you are looking for adult time, that's why we have 6 hours out of the week that are strictly ages 18 and up. And that's our 6, 7, and 8 o'clock hours on Friday and Saturday nights. So if you're looking for a date night, because those of you who have kids, you don't always want to be around your children, I guess, right? We have a lot of date nights here. The vibe kind of changes into more of a chill atmosphere on Friday and Saturday nights. But it's really important for our adopters to know that we will go out of our way to work with them, try to make a perfect match for them. It's pretty easy, honestly, to make a match on cute little kittens. Adults are a little more difficult because the adult cats are more set in their personalities, but we really go out of our way to give people the personalized experience, which I'm a shelter rescue person. I got all of my kitties from either stray situations or shelters, but it's a little impossible to get that personalized experience at a shelter because, frankly, the shelters are just trying to get all the kitties clean and dogs cleaned and taken care of and maintained and medically supervised. So when you go to a shelter, you may not get as personalized of an experience just because the shelters are there to just strictly care for those kitties and try to get them to places like cat cafes or in foster homes.
So Rosemary, tell them a little bit more about what do you mean by personalized experience?
So personalized, by the time you come in, if you haven't read our frequently asked questions page, when you come in, we get you checked in, and we're talking about check everybody in, get you drinks, snacks, all that stuff. But we specifically, either we have a volunteer in the room or one of our house cats or leadership team members will take a little one-on-one time to talk to people. So if we know for sure that we have 4 or 5 adopters in the room, we'll take a few moments, tell them, please take your time, make sure that you try to bond with the kitty. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Halfway into the session, we see if they have any specific questions, because we do have just basic information on the kitties here. Unless they're an owner surrender adult kitty, we really don't have a lot of information. But with the 8 to 12-week-old kitties, it's pretty simple where they're coming from shelters and things. But what we do is we really sit down with them. Once they feel secure in making their decision, then they will fill out an application, and then at the end of the session, once we get the other group in, we will sit down with them and go over everything, get them approved, see if they have any questions. Well, hello. Is this our sassy one? I think it is. This is... We got a bobcat. Oh, I can't even tell what this kitty's name is, but he has a smiley face on his collar. So what we'll do is we'll sit down. For instance, do you want a busy kitten like this? Or do you want more of a little chill kitten like the little sleepy kitten over there in the corner? Do you want more of a curious cat? Do you want more of a flat out crazy kitten? Because some of our kittens are just crazy in here today. So we really sit down with you and we guide you and we coach you. We go over everything to I guess we kind of over-educate people sometimes because we want to make sure that they are confident and educated and really happy with their decision. And the best thing we get is when we get reviews saying, you all were so good to talk to, you guided me every step of the way. I felt 100% confident about the decision that I made taking my baby home.
But again, in some situations, that you can't do that.
No.
So, in other words, if you were going to a cat cafe and you said, I just want the whole room to myself.
Right.
Can't do that.
Yes.
Or I want only these people to come in with me. Can't do that.
Right.
Or can you...
You can have the whole room to yourself.
You can't do that.
If you book it.
It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. People don't want to pay that. But yeah, I mean, so I want to make sure that we understand
Absolutely.
that. And especially coming out of COVID, so we've had some situations where somebody says, well, I'm compromised, or can I do this? We've tried to make accommodations, but again, it's difficult if you are trying to manage so many individual requests. The good news is that the reason why it's difficult is because we had so many people. and we have that many people, that means we get more adoptions. Right. So.
And one thing too is, we are a very different cat cafe. You have different styles of cat cafes. Some cat cafes are more of a chill, quiet, a little bit geared toward more introverted individuals who just want to come and sit and read a book and have a cup of coffee. We are more of we're kind of a party place.
Yes.
Not just with our kitties, but with our people. We want people to get to know each other and sit and show pictures of their cats, or say, oh, I think you should get that one, or oh, I think that one loves you, you should get that kitty, or just take lots of pictures and put on Instagram. So we're more of a big social destination here in the city, and we love meeting like-minded people, and that's a personalized experience. When you come in here, maybe it's on a Friday night, and you're hanging out with a bunch of people, and you get to know some new people based on your mutual love for cats. That's pretty huge. So we do always tell people, because we get people on occasion saying, "Oh my goodness, there were so many kids, or there were so many people." To us, that's a good problem to have, because that means we are helping with our mission. Because the more visitors we get here, the higher number we get of adoptions that we have, and of course, the more donations we can make to our local shelters. So the other thing is, I want to adopt with no restrictions. So we do go over everything when we do the adoption. For instance, the shelters, 99.9% of all shelters are going to want your kitty to be an indoor-only kitty, unless you're harness training and things like that. Any kind of surgeries, cosmetic surgeries, any kind of alterations. Make them sound like a dress, right?
Hopefully the audience knows what we're talking about.
You all know what we're talking about. Other animals in the home, we'll talk about that. Each shelter and cat cafe has unique requirements, and we go through that contract and through everything. For instance, if you want an outdoor kitty, you can get a working cat. Or you can go to all kinds of shelters, and they will have specific kitties that are used to being outside, because there are cats out there that want to be outside. Same thing, we go over any sort of restrictions. We make sure you get approved, and all the cat cafes, to my understanding, had a pretty rigorous process for going through.
They do, but explain a little bit about the cat cafes, in so much as it's not really their cats.
Right, yes.
So that's something to mention on this.
Absolutely.
When we start talking about restrictions placed upon adopters.
Right. So these kitties, we always say they are guests. This is kind of their Airbnb, I guess, right? Except for we're paying the bills, right? So they are here until they get adopted, which is an average of, and between us and Covington, what, about three days total?
2.5 for kittens. And adult is a little bit over 4.
Right. So they don't stay with us very long. And we are very lucky, because that means that we are fulfilling that what we call goodbye is the goal, which is what we want to do. We want them to go to a good home. So what we do is, what was I talking about, by the way? I totally got distracted by that kitty who's getting ready to knock over Robert's clipboard. Never mind.
Oh, panic.
I saw it before it was happening.
That's what he gets for putting something
there
on
you
the
go.
table, Robert.
I thought, this is going to happen.
Look at his phone, though.
This is this is our more
gravity,
This is our more casual style of podcast now. We're just letting it happen.
We were talking about how shelters have specific.
Yes. These are not our kitties.
Right.
These kitties belong to the shelter, the rescue. So they set the protocols, they set the rules, they set the pricing, and they set the adoption expectations that every adopter must be approved through before we can go through. To the point that if we don't feel comfortable, or we don't feel 100% confident about an adopter, we forward that application, and I'm sure most cat cafes do. That application is forwarded to the adoptions team or the shelter team that will ultimately make those decisions. That's how much we care, and that's how much we work to make sure that these kitties are placed in safe, happy, healthy, confident homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
with that, I think that, last point, number 5, is that when you're coming into a cat cafe, they're really not going to offer guarantees. So Robert's going to be doing a podcast here pretty soon about a little bit about some of the more common health issues that occur. Every shelter is going to follow protocols, as is cat cafe is going to follow protocols, but you cannot put a guarantee on something that is Mother Nature. So we get vaccines when we're children, but yet we still may get something later on down the line. So this happens. We are doing our best. It is probably one of the more emotional parts of the Cat Cafe, and it's one of the reasons why either people quit or they altogether no longer have a Cat Cafe. So one of the things we want to tell you all, and I just had a very heated discussion that I did personally. It's been going on for 2 weeks, and I'm trying to exercise as much patience and as much level-headedness as I can in order to calm this other person down. But they said, no, I bought this cat from you. I did not rescue this cat. That is absolutely not the way we feel. And this person, by the way, had a kitty that had one of the more common things that occur. We did as much prevention as we possibly could for them, and we're here for them whenever we can. But the reality of it is you did not buy, you are rescuing. It's just not within our spirit. So some people will say the word buy. Don't do that. That's one thing not to do in a cat cafe is how much can I buy them for? You know, that you are rescuing, you are adopting, you are fostering, whatever they say on there. So in summary, as we go through, the 5 reasons why you don't want to go. Number 1, you don't want to pay. Number 2, you want a specific breed. Number 3, you want everything to be personal and all by yourself and all that fun kind of stuff. Not going to happen here. Number 4 is you want to adopt, but you want to be able to do whatever you want to with the cat afterwards. That's not going to work because not only does the Cat Cafe, but the shelter have restrictions on. And last but not least, you want some sort of guarantee on your purchase. Again, we are here to rescue. It's in the spirit of it. We're here to help out shelters. Remember, every time that you are able to adopt, you take a kitty. That allows the shelter to take another kitty in that is in need, or another cat that is in need, surrender, or a kitty that's off the street. So,
how lucky are we to be able to do what we do?
Oh yeah, it is amazing.
These are amazing.
We do, and it's hard. It's hard because then the best things tend to be that way as well too. But people say, well, how do you don't take them all home? And I said, I'm now at the point where I feel blessed. Visiting dogs. There you go. Get that, Robert.
What is that?
So we're now at the point, look at him. This is part of the socialization, by the way, folks. But we're now at the point where we are more rewarded watching people go home happy with their forever family and watching the impact that we can make on the shelters.
Or when a kid says, this was the best day of my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What about the guy who came in here and told me that he felt like this is the waiting room to heaven?
Oh,
that's a good description. That's a lot. So that's the community aspect of it. So adoptions, impact on shelters, and then, again, a community of animal lovers all around. So if you've enjoyed this and all the different subject matters that we've had, again, I'm Chuck, this is Rosemary, Robert, you could wave at maybe something like that. If you've enjoyed these, please share, please follow. Everybody's always saying that, but our core objective is to grow our community. And that community is people that are interested in how they impact shelters, how they impact homeless animals or animals that need to be rehomed. So follow us. Please support us. Do everything you can.
And come see us.
And come see us. Yeah, if you're in Louisville, Kentucky or Covington, Kentucky.
Or support your local cat cafe.
That's right. Any cat cafe.
Any
yep.
cat cafe.
They're all here. We're all here in the same mission in mind. So thank you all so much and have a perfect day. Bye-bye.